Gentle parenting sounds beautiful in theory, but in real life, many parents are absolutely exhausted trying to do it. The truth is, most people were never actually shown what gentle parenting is supposed to look like. Hi, my name is Jane, and today's episode is why gentle parenting feels so hard. So right from the start, I want to make it very clear that gentle parenting isn't permissive. We're not just going to give in and allow our children to have everything they want. It's very much about holding boundaries and not removing them. So a lot of parents come to me with a question of what exactly is gentle parenting? There's a big misconception or a misunderstanding here that people think that it actually means saying yes to our children all the time. Whatever they ask for, we're going to say, sure, you can have that, sweetie, or, oh, can I get you this? Or let's just not cause any conflict. If we say no, but then the child starts to arc up a little bit and, oh, but mum, I really want this. Oh, well, okay, we better get it for you. Or it's really about, let's not upset the children. Let's just keep a happy, peaceful family. That's a complete misconception. It's definitely not about that, because children need boundaries and they need to be held. But it's the way in which we hold these boundaries and the approach that we take. So you can actually be firm and kind at the same time, because the boundaries that we're talking about still exist. They're still there. And your child is allowed to experience emotions. That's completely normal. You as a parent experience emotions daily. So does your child. So we're not trying to suppress these emotions by any means. We're not trying to tell them that you can't be upset because I've said that you cannot have whatever it is your child is wanting. We're allowing these emotions to develop and allowing themselves to express themselves. That's really, really important. But we're regulating them at the same time. So I'll touch on that a little bit more, but it's really about ourselves being self-regulated and then co-regulating with our child so they feel really supported whilst we're still holding those firm boundaries for them. Gentle parenting has become really popular over the last few years, but it's also become one of the most misunderstood concepts in parenting. So a lot of parents out there are trying incredibly hard to do the right thing by their child, but instead of feeling more connected to their children, they're actually feeling more exhausted, more overwhelmed, and more unsure of themselves, and to the point that they even feel like they could be getting judged by other peers or parents. So social media adds these almost perfect moments at all times, and people aspire to be like what they're witnessing or what they're seeing on social media. But as you know, as a parent, real parenting is messy. We have our up and downs, and most of us weren't actually raised in this way of gentle parenting. So gentle parenting isn't about being constantly patient with your child. It's about understanding what your children need developmentally and through regulating with them as well. So at the core of gentle parenting, it's really about how boundaries are delivered. And this is the difference to potentially how we were brought up from our parents. So it's, as I've mentioned previously, it's not about removing the boundaries. It's holding them in a way that supports your child's nervous system. So for a traditional approach, it may have been reprimanding your child or controlling the behaviour or offering punishment or consequences if they weren't obedient in that moment. Whereas the gentle approach is far more about connecting with your child first. It's being able to be there for them and emotionally coach them with what they're going through and offering complete regulation support throughout the process. So to give you an example, it may be that your child refuses to leave the park. Now, the traditional approach would have said, get in the car, we're going now, we're leaving in 2 minutes. Whereas gentle parenting is about understanding that your child might not be ready to go. So it's communicating that to them. I understand that it's difficult to leave the park and you really want to stay, but we actually have X, Y, and Z to do. So we are leaving now. So you're still holding the firm boundary, but you're doing it with kindness. And it's now time to go. I've given you your warning, your 5 minutes. So now it is time that we go and get in the car. Often why gentle parenting feels hard is because it's asking us to do something that we were never taught, and that is be self-regulated. Because when children are dysregulated, they borrow their regulation from us, primarily their parents and adults around them. So they are looking for cues of feeling safe within themselves. So if you're feeling regulated, that's going to transfer onto them as well, and then they're going to start to feel regulated through co-regulation. But being a parent, we know all too well we can be tired, we can be exhausted, we can be overwhelmed, we can be overstimulated, and that makes it harder for us to self-regulate. So your children aren't learning regulation from what you're saying to them. They're actually picking it up on a feeling state. They're picking it up somatically. So they're getting it from a state of our nervous system, which is being transferred to their nervous system. So this doesn't have to actually mean that we have to be calm 24/7 all the time, but it just means that we repair when we need to, rupture and repair. If we have not acted in the way that we would have liked, we can come back and address that and repair with them. And it's showing that when we have that awareness, that really matters far more than being a perfect parent or what social media is telling us to be and to the way to interact with our children. Being able to self-regulate could just simply mean a few deep breaths, drawing that oxygen deep into the belly, calming yourself down, activating that rest and digest response within the body, having that physiological effect. So you start to drop the shoulders, you start to feel calmer and more relaxed, and then being able to co-regulate with your child, because that scenario of still telling your child kindly and holding that boundary with your child as that we're leaving the park now doesn't necessarily mean that your child is obediently going to say, oh, okay, well, because you've been calm and told me that way, then I'll now walk straight to the car. So this is where 100% your regulated state comes into play. It's remaining calm and constantly explaining it to your child that I understand you might be disappointed. We've had lots of fun here, but it is time to go. So you're not giving in to that boundary by any means, but by you staying regulated and then allowing your child, and it might take several times, it might be that constant repetition, repeating the same thing, telling them it is time to leave now, but by you doing it calmly and in a regulated state, that is the difference of gentle parenting to being more aggressive or saying that there'll be consequences or disciplining them if they don't leave immediately. So it's very much about keeping yourself calm, and potentially while you are doing this, allow time for it when you start. Know that it might not be the first time initially that your kids are going to just, the first time you mention it, that they're going to walk to the car. So giving yourself a bit of time. If you have to leave in 10 minutes, maybe tell them you've got to leave in 5 minutes, and then allow yourself 5 minutes to maybe have a few times of reminding them that it's time to leave, but doing it in a really calm approach, because that's also then going to help you stay regulated, because then you're not necessarily on time frames and you're running late, which adds another stressor into the mix. So I'll just quickly give you a few little tips as parents that you can focus on. So connecting with your child before correcting them. Connection before correction. Yeah. So it's really about connecting, having that moment with your child before you need to say, no, actually, we are leaving now. It is time to go. So really getting down on their level and connecting with them. Also about keeping predictable boundaries. This is a really important one. So your children know that you're not going to just cave in. You've set your boundaries, you're staying firm with them, but there's a kindness there with them as well. So it's being that predictability that your children are well aware that you will be leaving the playground, for example, and that you're not going to cave in if they ask several times. And then you say, oh, well, okay, let's just stay for another 20 minutes, for example. Validating your child emotionally is really important. So maybe letting them know verbally that I understand you're feeling disappointed, or you've had so much fun here today, but it is time to go. So we're really emotionally validating what they're experiencing and what they're going through. It's not just that blunt, okay, it's time to leave now, let's go. And also, I did touch on this earlier, but if you do lose it, as parents do, repair with them afterwards. That's so important, to come back after you've had that rupture and repair. And it might just be acknowledging the situation, apologizing, and saying that you'll try harder next time not to do whatever it was that you said or did. So gentle parenting, just to recap, is not about controlling your child's behavior perfectly, because that doesn't happen. It's really about building emotional safety for them over time. So they're starting to feel safe, and they know that the way you speak to them is always going to be the same, and you do have boundaries, but you are gentle in the way that you're interacting with them. So gentle parenting isn't about getting it right all the time, because we don't, and that's just part of being a parent and being human. But it's letting your children really know when things are difficult and they're hard, that your and their relationship stays safe. So you've still got that connection with them, even when it is time to leave the playground and that's maybe something they really don't want to do. There's still a safe connection. You're being gentle, kind, but firm in the boundaries at the same time. So if this kind of nervous system approach parenting interests you, please subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for next week. We've got some great topics I'll be discussing. And please also let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you'd like me to talk about in the future. Thank you.